Welcome to yet another episode of Talking Tech. And this one is going to be interesting. And even though I say it for every single episode, but today we have a very special guest with us. We have Nana Murugesan from Snapchat. And this is one platform, one social media platform that, I really want to understand a few things about and get some insights into how their journey has been in India, especially in this crowded social media market that we have. But before we get into that, welcome to the show, sir. How are you doing? How's it going with Snapchat and otherwise in life?
Thank you so much for having me, Manas. And I'm doing well and hope the same with you. And I'm glad to see that you're in your studio in Noida, right?
Yeah, that's how life has changed in the last few weeks. Now I have to get up on time and get here. So yeah.
Yes. I know. And I'm actually in my business trip, speaking to you from Dubai, actually. So yeah, it's
Oh,
good.
that's
It's
nice.
good to see that things are opening up and we are all back in our offices and back to traveling.
Yeah. So I'm sure you would have some interesting insights to share about Snapchat because very honestly, when I got to know about this platform for the very first time, I thought, yeah, it's just another social media platform because we have so many of these coming to India every single year. But now, I mean, in 2021, it has become really big and it's genuinely exploded with so many youngsters hooked onto this platform. So how's been this journey? And can you give us some numbers and insights about where we are right now in terms of market positioning?
Yeah, I mean, first, I wanted to mention that we don't really look at ourselves as like social media, like in the traditional sense
Okay.
of it, as most people think of it, right? I mean, we are really focused on visual expression and communication with close friends and family. So very committed to augmented reality. And so from the beginning, we've been very focused on camera and augmented reality. And we've been particularly excited about our journey in India, right? I mean, we've spent a lot of time and a lot of investments in localizing the app experience, forging local partnerships, and really driving that cultural relevance, celebrating those cultural moments. So we have a very exciting milestone that we've just reached that we want to share with you. We now reach more than 100 million Snapchatters in India. So it's a very significant moment for us. And we are very excited to get here and for all the upcoming milestones and things to come in the future as well.
Yeah. So is this one of those hacks that you just mentioned? Because you said that you don't look at yourself as a social media platform in the traditional sense. You rather look at yourself as a bigger this thing. So is it one of the hacks to create that unique identity in this crowded market?
I think even when you go to snap.com, right, you're going to see us call ourselves a camera company, right? Like, so when you open up our app, we invite you to the camera. We open to the camera, right? So we inherently are a creation platform, right? We want people
Okay.
to take, open to the
Yeah.
camera, create, and then share with their friends and family, whether it's swiping left and communicating with friends and family or and checking out where people are on the maps or like looking at the stories that people have posted or through our Spotlight platform, sharing the user-generated content to the wider audience, right? So very much we are a creation first, camera first type of a platform, which is very unique, right? And that's not usually the way how social media is classified. So that's what we want to always clarify as it relates to our product positioning.
Now, why I asked you this question and I kept emphasizing on the social media part of it is because while you may not look at yourself as a social media company only, there are others who are keeping an eye and who consider themselves as social media companies. And there are certain features. For example, Snapchat introduced this ability to disappear images after 24 hours, who have been now introduced on other platforms as well. Now, when we see platforms and people taking inspiration from each other all the time, what's your opinion on this? One social media company picking up features from other one and just implementing it on their platform as it is.
Yeah, like I think innovation is greatest when it's shared, right? I think we love to innovate, and we are always focused on bringing these innovations to our community, and it's great sometimes, right? Where it really helps drive awareness when there is a lot of cross sharing, as you mentioned, right? Like so I think we are very committed to augmented reality and really proliferating that and bringing that magic and the power of augmented reality, and also several other innovations, whether it's ephemerality, like with the disappearing messages, or stories, several innovations that we have done. And it's always great to see that more and more people are using it, more and more partners are using it. And so it's always great to see that.
Yeah. Now you mentioned about the 100 million active users part here. So I really want to understand you in terms of growth. What are the numbers that you have achieved over the last 12 months? What's the year-on-year growth that we are looking at? And I mean, you've already said that you have now 100 million active users. So that's also something I want to understand. Like, but what's been the growth in terms of year-on-year? Because over the last 12, 18 months, this because of this COVID thing, all of us staying at home, there's also been a change in trends with a lot more people using social media platforms than before. So has it really helped, or have you seen that reflect into the number of users on the platform?
Yeah, the first thing I wanted to highlight is what has really helped drive our growth. I think it's the product market fit and the localization efforts, which has been a very, very key driver, whether it's localization efforts in terms of product, whether it's localization efforts in terms of partnerships and so on and so forth. So that's been the key driver. What is really encouraging for us is the consistency of growth. So for the last 7 quarters, we have been increasing our user base by 100% year over year, right? At a consistent level of like 100% year over year growth over the last 7 quarters. So that is really encouraging, and it's sort of led us to this point. And the same thing, right? Not just on the user base side, we've had like very, very healthy growth when it comes to time spent and so on and so forth, right? So we are seeing very, very healthy patterns in terms of user growth and engagement metrics as well.
Okay. Also, just to be clear, when you say localization, it just means, does it only mean, making the app available in regional languages, or does it go beyond that?
Much beyond that, right? The regional languages is the basic part. I think that's foundational, and we've invested a lot in that, in bringing it to like all the major Indian languages. But it's also culture. For example, just this year alone, I believe we have like celebrated 75 different festivals and moments, right? And across different regions in India, right? Like, so making sure that there are 5 tabs in our app, right? So whether it's the maps, whether it's communication, whether it's augmented reality, the camera, whether it's content, whether it's like the spotlight stuff, we make sure that we kind of, during these culturally relevant moments, we tailor it. And we've done it for like 75 different moments this year, right? So that's also localization. We also localize for the creator community, right? Like, how can we make sure that we are helping the creator community with their needs, whether it's building their audience, whether it's monetizing their audience, connecting with brands. So localization means a lot, and it's really all encompassing, and languages is just the start of it, but there's a lot of focus that we drive towards localization to the Indian Snapchatter, the Indian community, the Indian partner needs.
Okay. Now I'll take you to now one of the recent announcements and developments, which I believe could be very crucial for Snapchat, which is the integration with Google on the Pixel smartphones. So now the Pixel users, from what I can understand, have the ability to access Snapchat directly from phone's lock screen. And why I'm saying is because why I'm saying that what I can understand is because we are yet to see the Pixel smartphones in India. So, and probably we're not going to see them as well. So what I want to understand from you is, can you deconstruct how this integration works? Also, can we see some sort of, this sort of feature on other smartphones in India now that we know that the Pixel 6 is probably not launching here?
That's a great question. And again, maybe let me zoom out and talk about our broader OEM strategy as I deconstruct this for you. So when we look at OEMs, right, obviously we are a smartphone app, right? So working with all the major smartphone device makers, whether it's the global ones or the local ones, is super important, just because we are a smartphone app, right? So our strategy is in 2 parts. One is what we call on Snapchat OEM strategy. The other one is an off Snapchat OEM strategy. So on Snapchat OEM strategy is all about making Snapchat's value proposition stronger and better for our users, right? So whether it's basic stuff like performance optimization, because making sure that Snapchat is working well on all the different types of devices out there. There are so many types of different devices with different specs, different types of cameras. And we need to make sure that we are optimizing it for all these different devices, right? So that it works well, right? So that's like a very basic foundational aspect of on Snapchat strategy. Another thing, next step is pre-installs, preloads, which means when you buy a Snapchat phone, right? Like for example, when you buy a smartphone, for example, if you buy a Samsung A series or an M series or Oppo devices or Vivo devices, right? A lot of them are going to come pre-installed with the Snapchat app, which makes it very easy for our users to just immediately start using it, right? Without having to
Yeah.
download it when they have the latest version of the software. So that's another aspect of the on Snapchat strategy. What we have done with
Okay.
Google Pixel is the next step in that, right? Which is how do we drive our value proposition? Which means
Hmm.
if our value proposition is the fastest way to share a moment, what's faster than putting it right on the lock screen?
Lock
So
screen. Yeah.
on the lock screen, you can take a snap, you can make some augmented reality effects to it, and then you can authenticate and share it with the friends, right? Like, so the ability, without even taking the time to log into your lock screen and go find the Snapchat app and open the camera, you're like directly accessing it straight from the lock screen, right? And so all these are part of our on Snapchat strategy, which is about making sure Snapchat works well, making sure Snapchat is accessible, making sure that the Snapchat value proposition is getting better and better. So this is on Snapchat OEM strategy. Next part of it is the off Snapchat OEM strategy, which means that we know that people use a lot of different apps outside of Snapchat, and we want to share some of the best of Snapchat to other apps. So when you buy a Geophone Next, right, directly on the camera of Geophone Next, you're going to have Snapchat lenses. When you
Okay.
go to ShareChat Moj, the Moj app, the camera there is powered by Snapchat's AR technology, right? So even though it's not Snapchat, but some of the best of Snapchat's AR and AR lenses are available in other apps and native camera integrations or other apps, right? So I think that's sort of an example of an off Snapchat OEM strategy, which we drive through our camera kit integrations.
Okay. But so you very smartly have still, not answered the part where we can see a lock screen integration on any smartphone in India. Yes.
We are
Okay.
working on it for sure, right? Like both these integrations that I mentioned on Snapchat and off Snapchat, our goal is to do it with as many partners as possible. So we are always looking for
Okay.
partners to drive these integrations. Of course, you have to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We're
So
very
Google was the
excited.
first, but you're telling
Google's
that
the
was
first.
most certainly not the last. You are still working with other smartphone manufacturers to bring similar features
Yeah,
on
like
their devices as well.
even in our Google announcement, this is absolutely the strategy that I mentioned on Snapchat and off Snapchat is something we want to work with different partners out there, and we are always
Okay.
excited to talk to partners, and we're working with other partners.
Great. Meanwhile, while you're talking to them, please, if you can slip in a word to Sundar Pichai and ask him to bring the Pixel phones to India, that would be great.
I
my,
will try.
my,
Yes, yes. Yeah, but
my last
it's a
question
really
to
exciting integration. It's a great phone. Yeah.
yeah. So my last question to you is: so in the same announcement, in the same Pixel 6 launch, Google also mentioned that it's working on an exclusive augmented reality lenses, as well as incorporating live transition into Snapchat. So from what I can understand is that the conversations can be translated, right? So
Yeah.
can you just deconstruct and elaborate more on that as well? So what is working? What is happening on that end?
Yeah, as we all know, right? Google has really amazing technology when it comes to AI, ML. They have a new chipset on their phones. There's just a
Yeah.
lot of great AI, ML technology that they are incorporating in their phones. So Google Translate is one of those things which uses a lot of this technology, right? So we are going to be working with Google on Google Translate technology so that we are kind of making translation better and better for our users, leveraging the technology that they have, right, as part of our deeper strategic integration. So that's like, it's pretty much making translation better and better.
Okay.
Just given how AI and ML is a big
Okay.
part of it, right? So that's one thing. Regarding your other question, as it relates to lenses, this is
Yeah.
something that we are always excited about, right? Working with our partners closely on like unique and exclusive lenses are that are relevant for them too, right? Like, and so we work with Google on like what type of lenses we want to bring to the market, and so it's always a very exciting and creative collaboration, and we hope to have some really unique lenses out there.
So all the best for all those things that you have planned for the Indian market for this year and going forward into the next year. Thank you so much for your time, Nana. You were really kind with your time and gave us all those insights. And it was lovely to have you on the show.
Lovely to be here. Thank you so much, Manas, and hope to see you in person soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, bye-bye.